Okay, it should be visible now.
It is.
Okay. Can you hear me in the video?
I'm not sure. We might have to. I think so. I can double hear you. So.
Okay, I muted Skype, so if you hear me, then let me know.
It sounds so nasally.
I do?
I hear you.
Wish there was a way to have started this on the ground. Right, everybody, welcome to the Cowansim Bell 222 UT. We have just taken off from Tampa General Hospital, and we're going to make our way to the east to Kilo Papa Charlie Mike, which is Plant City Municipal Airport in Plant City, Florida. I wanted to do a cold and dark start, but the simulator seemed to have other ideas. So right now we're coming across the storage grain silos near the port of Tampa, headed past the cruise ship terminal. We're going to make our way as expediently as we can to our destination to pick up our passenger, our patient. There's the IKEA, which is always full of people. Go ahead and simulate that we have no patient on board at the moment. Watch out for the crosstown expressway flyovers here.
Meatballs.
Yes, meatballs. I have my chat monitor
Sending me on Skype.
watching the chat in case anybody joins in.
Okay. So I think I'm seeing the whole picture.
Yeah, you should be seeing the whole picture now because I figured out what I did wrong earlier.
Chat monitor. Bubbles. Just call me Bubbles.
Right now we're flying down State Road 60, known as Adamo Drive outside of Tampa. And we're going to bank a little bit and come over the CSX main yard in Tampa. Coming across the Hillsborough County Corrections, Orient Road Jail right below us. Off to our north is KVDF, which is former Vandenberg Field, now known as Tampa Bay Executive Airport. It is an uncontrolled airfield, so we will be watching for any traffic in the area, which we should be outside of the main pattern. Get a little trim set up here. Zoom out a little bit. Reset my track IR. There we go. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. That way all the...
It looks lovely from here.
I'm getting reports that the feed is looking good. from my feed monitor, and that is good to know. I don't think I've got anybody else in the chat even watching it right now.
Yeah, it says 2. I'm guessing that's you and I.
That is probably correct. You and I.
I can hear myself like 20-second delay or something. It's funny.
We've got some beautiful weather here in sunny Hillsborough County, Florida. Some light clouds, light breeze, clear skies. Visibility greater than 10 statute miles.
Blah.
My chat monitor does not like when I give the weather report from Florida because she's in Indiana where it is cold and rainy. A little bit off on my approach here.
Can you see that chat when I type?
I cannot see the chat because it's behind my main window. If anybody has any questions that my chat mod cannot answer, I will look at them as soon as I sit down.
Okay. Okay. So I have, what I'm looking at is exactly what we look at when we're watching Oz simmer in here.
Here we go, coming in on final approach. Plain City Municipal Traffic. This is Med 04. Making final approach. Runway 8. Plain City Traffic.
No, I didn't finish it. It didn't come through.
What is that that did not come through? Correction, runway 10. It went the other direction. Either way, we're landing to the
rest
east.
of my statement on Skype here. I'll tell you when you land.
Once we get here down and slowed, we'll hover taxi to the FBO. load our patient into the back. We're going to position ourselves in an area so that we can make a quick departure after our patient is loaded. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get in the back seat. And we'll open the door to prepare for our passenger. Okay, we're going to call it that the ground ambulance has arrived and loaded our passenger. And there she is, trauma patient 1. Go ahead and get that door closed.
That's good. We don't want her to fall out.
Yep, make sure she's belted in tight. Okay, we're gonna spool our engines up, back to flight. Check all of our temperatures, check our hydraulics, oil pressure, highs, lows, everything good. Torque is in the green. Quick check of the windsock, got no wind, limp sock. We're going to do a departure to the east we'll do a departure to the west because the east departure has a noise abatement procedure, which we are more or less in a hurry, so we ain't got time for all that. Okay, so we're good to go. Clear left and above, clear right and above, and coming up. Try not to kill this ramp rat. And I use that term affectionately because I worked as a ramp rat for 3 years at Atlantic Aviation FBO at KBDR, which is Sikorsky Memorial Airport in wonderful Stratford, Connecticut. Plenty of traffic. Med 04, intersection departure to the west. Runway 28, Plant City municipal traffic. off we go. Continue our climb out. Nice.
Ooh, you got another watcher.
Hello, Watcher. Thank you for joining us. We're just doing a quick out and back from Tampa General Hospital to Plant City Municipal to pick up a patient, which we've already done. And we're headed back to Tampa General Hospital to discharge her to the trauma unit. After we arrive and discharge her to the personnel on the ground there, we will then fly over to Tampa International, KTPA, to the Signature Air Service flight ramp to get some fuel. And then we'll reposition back to KTPF, which is Peter O'Knight Field, to the south of Tampa on Davis Island. And we are in the wonderfully modeled and textured Cowansim Bell 222 UT, the UT being short for utility, which means this does not have wheels. It has skids, which allows the wheel sponsons to be used as auxiliary fuel tanks for added range or time on station. The UT version is very popular, or was at one time very popular with the medevac crowd for that reason, because it had good staying power, had good power for lifting patients, clearing obstacles in a vertical ascent, and more than enough power for a vertical descent if necessary into a confined area. It was also widely used by the offshore petroleum industry for shuttling work crews back and forth between the shore and the oil rigs. Sadly, most of the Bell 222 airframes are timing out, and they're being replaced with more modern, more technologically advanced, and safer aircraft. Not that the Bell 222 was an unsafe aircraft, just antiquated, being a 1970s design.
You could tell me the answer to this later, but I'm just curious if YouTube has bots like Twitch had bots when you were just doing open Twitch.
That is something I am unsure of. It is quite possible that they do, and they might have, YouTube watchers come in to make sure that we're not doing anything illicit. Sorry, chat, I am being asked a question by my moderator.
Okay.
So we've picked up Interstate 4, and we're coming up on the interchange between I-4 and I-75, just to the east of downtown Tampa.
If I click participants in chat, it only shows you mine.
You're going to be up and over KZDF, which is Tampa Executive, the former Vandenberg Field. Keeping our altitude above the pattern altitude. Looks like we got a little bit of weather between us and Tampa General Hospitals, a little bit of haze developing out over to the downtown area. Not unusual for this time of year. Starts to get warm and very humid. And with the lack of wind, there's nothing to move it along. Cutting just to the north of the CSX yard, Tampa. Picking up a little bit of chop as we're going to start our descent here as we come over the Leroy Selman Expressway's crossover to Interstate 4. And this interchange here with the Crosstown Expressway is just before the notorious I-4, I-275 interchange, locally known as Malfunction Junction. One of the worst major interstate interchanges I have ever had the displeasure of driving on.
Which has no function.
Which is that little eyesore right over there. But hey, they're supposed to be doing construction, which this time they swear it's going to fix the problems. But so did the last 3 construction projects. Okay, we are going to start our final descent now through the downtown area. The eagle-eyed among you may be able to pick out some of these buildings and know what they are. For those who are unfamiliar with the Tampa Bay area, we are coming up on the Tampa Bay Convention Center, which is right off our nose, and to the left is Amalie Arena, home of the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're going to bring this across the Bayside Bridge, bleed off our remaining speed, and make our final approach into the pad.
Sorry, I was laughing because I wrote "Go Hockey" in the chat when you said Amalie Arena.
End up a little high on my approach, a little fast. Oop, we're drifting. They're gonna fire me after this job. Roll back the throttle. Faster caution comes off. Engines are spooling down. Waiting for our rotor RPM to get past 60%. And we're at 60, and we can go ahead and engage the rotor brake. We'll go ahead and turn off the landing lights. Okay. We will turn off the generators.
Do the buildings look all wonky for you too, or is it just me?
No, those are definitely bad buildings.
Okay.
Check a setting real quick, because it seems like for some reason my I'm not able to touch the buttons like I'm supposed to be. I don't know.
Oh, that's very odd.
Okay. I was able to get those turned off. We will go ahead and open up the door. And we will yeet this person right out of the helicopter. Yeet! Okay, she is now on a gurney heading inside. We will wait for them to clear the pattern. Correction, clear the landing area. Take a look at the helicopter sitting on the medevac pad right on the waterfront. This is not the highest quality of the AI generated buildings. It kind of looks like Tampa General Hospital. But if I'm not mistaken, I think this particular landing pad is a freeware little scenery pack that I downloaded that I wish would be updated. That said, go ahead and check, make sure rotor brake is off. Okay, rotor brake is off. We can turn the fuel prime off. We don't need that. Any collision lights are on. ahead and start the number 1 engine since today is Friday. Looking for a light off. Blades are turning. We're at 20%. Watching the rotor RPM start to increase. Wait until we get to 10%. Turn off master caution. And we will go ahead and roll the throttle up to idle to introduce fuel into the system. And when we get to 40% of rotor RPM, we'll go ahead and bring in engine number 2.
I like how you point at what you're talking about. That's very helpful to people that don't know.
Watching right here. Watching our engine temperatures. Good oil. Once we get to 40%, we can then bring in the generators. And we have hydraulic 1 and 2. Lights are now off.
I watched a lot of these videos with you, and a lot of people don't do that. In fact, I think most people don't do that.
Okay, we have a good start on number 1. So we're going to go ahead and bring it up to number 2. We'll watch it. Engine temperature should not climb over the yellow line for more than a couple of seconds. And we're good. Coming back down into the green. No hot start. Engine stabilizing. And we're looking to stabilize it around between 65 and 70%. It is rather warm today, so we might get a little less than 70%. Looks like we're about dead on 70. Okay, so the generators can come on now. Okay, all faults are cleared. Good highs, good lows. RPM still low. Slowly feed the throttle into flight for our trip over to Tampa General. Very good to go.
You're at Tampa General, you're going to Tampa International.
Yes, correction. We're going from Tampa General Hospital to Tampa International to get fuel at the Signature Flight Service. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to back up out of the chocks here, so to speak, despite the fact that we have skids. And we're going to make a right-hand turn as we come back.
I'm so tired.
As we come back out over the water. Start our turn. exit out over Old Hillsborough Bay. We will follow noise abatement procedures. Stay off from over the rich neighborhoods just beyond the hospital.
Hello.
And we will turn back to the east and then eventually back north around the tip of Davis Island as we climb back up to 1,000 feet. And we'll make an approach on runway 28 at Tampa International. Can y'all hear the sim? Or just my lovely, lovely voice?
I can hear the helicopter in you.
Very good. Still getting the bugs worked out. This is only the second time I've tried to stream like this. And right below us is the Port of Tampa. And beyond that is the Mosaic facility.
I think we're back to 2, I think. That somebody popped in and then popped back out.
Tampa approach. Med Flight 04. Inbound for runway 28.
I wish I could see who's here and who's not here. I don't know if you have can do that when you can see everything. But it would be nice to see. Nope. No, there's 3 of them. Damn, I ramble like I do when I'm talking over the thing. It's funny to hear myself there. It's back to 2.
Well, in the future, we'll have to not run Skype when I do this. Not because it's anything bad, but if you're just going to be listening to yourself the whole time, I can always put my earbuds in to the phone. We can chat on the phone. That way, it's got to be picking up Skype, which it shouldn't be.
No, it doesn't bother me. It is, but it doesn't. Oh, I don't know why that. It doesn't bother me to hear it. It doesn't. It doesn't bother me, but it's just funny to hear myself talk. I'm retarded.
We're going to start making our final approach here into runway 28. Coming up on our right at our 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock is the home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Winner of a couple of Super Bowls now. And over there, that little green patch in the area to the west of it, there to the left, that is One Buck Place. That's the practice field and administration building for the Buccaneers. Right below us is part of the spring training facility for the New York Yankees. Their main facility is right over there, right across the street from Raymond James Stadium. So we're going to make a intersection approach so that we can quickly taxi and clear. So it looks like I'm coming in a little high, and I am for a standard approach, but I am going to be coming in on the taxiway intersection so that we get out of the way of any traffic coming in behind us a little quicker. It's like FedEx has got one of their MD-11s parked over there today. Tampa International Airport is the third largest airport in the state of Florida, and it's also the largest on the Gulf Coast. We got a wayward tug driver here. He's not going to be happy that I'm getting ready to dust him. That's okay. It's probably pretty warm out there, so he's probably going to enjoy the breeze that rotor wash gives him. Or her. I couldn't really tell. Get ourselves a nice 10-foot hover taxi here as we go over to the signature ramp. Let's go ahead and get off the active taxiway and get across the movement, non-movement boundary. Looks like a rather busy day here at Tampa for airline traffic.
Someone is actually in chat asking if you can fly a 747 or a 737. Do you want me to answer for you?
I can fly 737s. I have the PMDG 737-700 and the PMD 737-800. I am looking forward to the release of the 737-8 MAX. Not so much looking forward to the 777 though. And we are down on the signature ramp on the east side of the airport. We're Go ahead and bring our engines down to idle and begin our cool down period for the engines. Go ahead and turn off our landing lights, or off. We will go ahead and turn off our position lights. And turn off the smoking and seatbelt signs. Standby attitude indicator can't come off. 2 minutes is so that we can wait for the engines to cool down so that we don't get heat soak from the hot section to the cold section, causing cracking between the turbine section and the compressor section. Not all helicopters have that requirement, but most Bell helicopters do.
He said the A330 is the butter machine, but I think maybe he meant better. I don't know.
Well, there's always been a rivalry between Boeing and Airbus, and for a lot of years, Boeing was way higher in numbers of operators operating their aircraft until probably the mid to late 90s, when Airbus started to slowly take over, and that was well before the issues with the 737 MAX 8. So it wasn't that one aircraft was any more reliable than the other. It was just that Airbus kind of made some decisions earlier on that allowed them to modify the aircraft in ways that Boeing couldn't do without restructuring the airframe. So it was much easier for Airbus to add bigger and better engines with the Neo than it was for Boeing to do the same thing with the 737.
And he asked, what's the most terrifying crash?
The most terrifying crash? I'd probably say, all crashes I would say are terrifying. However, if you want to go into numbers, I'd probably say TWA Flight 800, the one that blew up after taking off, the 747, from the fuel tank explosion, probably one of the most horrific. Then you got the Lockerbie, Scotland one, but that was a terrorist attack. The Pan Am Flight 103, that was back in the late 70s, or maybe 80s, maybe 82. I can't remember exactly when. It was somewhere in between 79 and 82, somewhere in that area. Can't remember exactly. I was very young when that happened. And then, of course, you had the BAE Concorde that caught fire on takeoff, and I'm sure those people were not having a good time as they were burning to their deaths before impact. Airbus had an A330 go down off the coast, or is it an A340? Went down off the coast of Argentina that crashed and killed everybody on board. So airplane crashes are not just limited to one manufacturer of aircraft. Airbus has their fair share, Boeing has their share, McDonnell Douglas had their share, and Lockheed had their share. So Bell's had many crashes, Sikorsky's had many crashes, so it's not just one manufacturer that's prone to crashing more than another. Okay, that's going to be our 2 minutes. Go ahead and pull our engine stops so we can roll the engines off. Reset our master caution because it's letting us know that hit master caution again as engines 1 and 2 spools down. Looking right here at rotor RPM. When we get to 60%, we can engage our rotor brake, which is right here on our right hand side. Extinguish the master caution. That's letting us know that our air brake, or correction, our rotor brake is engaged. Waiting for the rotors to spool down. And I always try to stop it at 6 and 12. And we can go ahead and turn off our anti-collision lights now. Fuel valves can be closed. Batteries, generators can come off. Inverters to off. Bus interconnect off. And now we are going to be sitting here waiting for our fuel to show up.
He said people are like the DC-10 is the death machine, then I'm like, which aircraft is going to save your country from forest fire?
The DC-10 as a super tanker is actually a very good aircraft. I don't think in the tanker configuration, I don't think they've had an accident. I know they had a firefighting C-130 a few years ago crash when the wings came off.
Oh, he said not the DC-10, the MD-11.
The MD-11 is just a further development of the DC-10. The DC-10 was originally developed by Douglas Curtis, and then they were taken over by McDonnell Douglas.
Then he took that post down and said that.
No, there
Then
are.
he said maybe the DC-10, I don't know. And then he said not sure, but he kept taking it down and picking them up. That's why the pause in my talking. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad that, it's good discussion. Yeah, the DC-10 did have a few major accidents as
I
well.
know, that's why I'm trying to read it to you, but if you prefer I don't, that's fine.
They had some crashes that happened on takeoff. They had the very famous one where the number 2 engine exploded and took out the hydraulic system and the vertical stabilizer, which caused the aircraft to be pretty much uncontrollable at that point, and it crashed. It's a very, very famous one. I can't remember the flight number off the top of my head. I think it was a United flight. And I think some people did die, but the pilots, the flight crew of that aircraft, did save a lot of lives because not everybody died on that airplane, and they were in an impossible situation. That was a separate incident, but yes, a DC-10 did lose an engine. However, if you look at the KC-10 extender, the one that I was discussing, where the turbine section blew out the tail on the hydraulics, that was the number 2 engine. The one in the tail is the number 2 engine. Aircraft have their engines numbered from the pilot's left to the pilot's right. So on the DC-10, The engine on the left wing is engine number 1. The engine in the tail is engine number 2, and the engine on the right wing is engine number 3. To give you a little background on me, I don't just do flight simulator. I've been in the aviation industry for most of my adult life. First as a helicopter mechanic in the U.S. Army, and I worked on all the helicopters that the U.S. Army has, or had at the time. They've got new ones now that weren't there when I was in. Sure, we can load up the 747, do a quick jaunt from, say, Sarasota, just to the south. I don't have a classic 737. The only one I have is the PMDG 737-700. The default 747 is but if you want, I'll gladly switch over to the PMDG 737-700 if you'd prefer. Okay, let me go ahead and give me a second, and I will terminate this flight, and we will set up for a flight from KSRQ, which is Sarasota. Just a short flight. Actually, nah, let's see. We'll do a 30-minute flight, let's say. What time is it? Oh, I don't have that kind of time. It's going to be dinner time in about 40 minutes or so. So we'll do a quick hop from KSRQ, which is in Sarasota, just to the south of Tampa. Oh, okay. I don't have I own the 700, but I don't have it installed right now. I just bought a new computer, and I'm still in the process of getting everything installed. So we'll fly Southwest since they have a major hub at Tampa. We said this is departure. And we'll go ahead and jump back into the sim. And this is just a test to see how well it is I can do the streaming. I'm obviously still learning all this. I need to reconfigure my controls as well. Okay. So since they don't pay me to do startup procedures. I am going to load this thing in with get ready to taxi. And we'll go ahead and we will tell everybody to get into their seats. Lights are set. APU is off. Lights are clear. Yeah, the 737 has a very ubiquitous cockpit. I'm not going to be using the flight tablet. We'll do a Part 91, quote-unquote, VFR flight out of here. We'll take a look around the aircraft, because PMDG has modeled this aircraft absolutely beautifully. Looks like we got some double parking going on over here. Glad to see everything still works just like it should. Cheryl is my chat moderator and girlfriend. If there's anything that she can do to assist, any questions, and she can, while I'm flying, I won't be looking at the chat very much, so if there may be a delay between what you type, and she'll relay it to me, because I have her in my ears, and then I will answer your question, okay? So let's go ahead and get ourselves pushed back. Come down here to the FMC. We want to push back. Chocks are removed. We want to push straight out. Select the tug. And let's go ahead and start the push. And parking brake can come off. Let's tell it to stop here for a second. Wait for these other aircraft to clear out of our way. Don't want to push into the alleyway when we got all set of traffic. Yeah, the traffic is not perfect in Microsoft Flight Simulator, to be sure, but it is way better than it used to be. I am using FSLTL, the free version that you can get through the fly-by-wire simulations installer. Let me know if anything's too loud. I'm going to pull down the mix a little bit on the Flight Simulator. Looks like we got a little bit of a traffic jam behind us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and push anyway. So let's go ahead and recall the tug and get these guys to push us out. Well, there we go. Looks like Allegiant and American Airlines are over there wanting to fight for position. Cheryl K is my chat moderator and my girlfriend. She's the one who's watching the chat while I do the flying. Go ahead and dismiss the tug. Let's go ahead and set our trim for takeoff. And we will set flaps. 2, 5. Make sure that's all good to go. Set reject takeoff on the auto brake. It is set. Alright, go ahead and release the parking brake. And let's go ahead and taxi on out to the runway. Add a little power. And we are moving. Oh no. I forgot to change my rudder pedals from the helicopter. One moment. There we go. So we're going to have a little bit of a crosswind. Shouldn't be too bad today though. going to be a quick hop, so we're not going to go very high. We'll stop about 5,000 feet. Now we'll make it 4,000. Airspeed 210. Heading is going to be roughly 360. And we'll be holding short here for a second. Come down here, we will input the VOR for St. Pete Clearwater.
He left, but I can't tell. Oh, somebody's back, so I'm not sure.
I don't know where this guy just popped up in front of me. Okay, we're all lined up. Good. Bring power to 70%. Release brakes. Push power to take off thrust. We're on the roll. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots, cross check. And we are V1, V2, and rotate. And positive rate, gear coming up. Flaps 2. Yeah, when I looked, the only participant I saw was me.
which is weird because I'm there too.
It's kind of funny. He was pretty chatty, and then as soon as I switched to the aircraft that he wanted me to, then he left.
Yeah, I don't understand it. There's 3 people in here now, but I don't know who the third one is. It's like they asked, now there's 4 people in here. They asked about me and then left, so I find that odd.
Think rate.
Oop.
Think rate. Think rate.
That was awesome.
It was a okay landing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tampa International Airport, where the temperature is currently 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is about 78%. Winds are light and variable from the northeast.
It was better than okay.
If this is your final destination, we'd like to welcome you to Tampa. And if you're staying with us for the next leg of our journey, we will be departing shortly. Insert the APU. because it's not going to give us our gateway. So let's go ahead and change this to...
They're sleepy. Fine. Pshaw, stairs.
Yes, stairs.
I wonder if people that keeps going up and down. I wonder if people are coming in looking for the bell and seeing a
So there's maybe...
I mean, it does say test broadcast, so that's groovy, but
Alright, anybody who is watching, I will be back after a brief intermission. I will leave you with watching the air traffic at beautiful Tampa International Airport, KTPA, in Tampa, Florida. And I'll be back in just a moment. And after that brief intermission, we are back. However, that is going to end this broadcast, for it is time for dinner. And I thank all of y'all who watched and liked. Whether you subscribed or not is irrelevant, so long as you had a good time. I'm sorry if you came in to see the Bell 222 UT, but I had a viewer ask for me to fly the PMTG 737, and so I obliged. I will stream the 222 UT again in the future, very near future. So keep your eyes open and peeled for the channel, and we'll do this again. I'm still in the process of learning how to do all this stuff. So we'll see you next time, and thanks for joining. Have a good night.